Everyone has talked about the grueling process on the student athletes during this pandemic. What is the daily routine like during the coronavirus pandemic for Northwestern State football?
Yeah, I think, the one thing that you mentioned was what it does to the student athlete. We're testing 3 times a week. So right now, as we go through, not only them, doing what they're doing in the classroom, and that's, 12 to 18 hours in study hall and, academic meetings. But then you add in, what they're having to go through from a COVID protocol. Right now, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings, before they do anything that day from an athletic standpoint, they're going through the testing protocol. I tell you, 100% credit to these student athletes and what they're enduring and what they're having to do each and every day.
What is your thought process on all these teams leaving the Southland Conference, and where does it leave the current state of the conference in your mind?
Yeah, I can answer that easily. I'm excited as heck to be able to play spring football. There's a lot that's going on within the conference that we all can read, but, our 100% focus is right now in the spring. But I want to go back to our student athletes, man. They get the opportunity to be able to go out and compete 6+ times this spring. And, that's our focus.
What are your thoughts on the FCS as a whole this year?
I tell you, I think right now you got 98 teams that in FCS that as of today, I believe, are looking forward to the opportunity to be able to compete for a national championship. And I think every one of those teams is going to be more excited now than they've ever been to get out on that field. And so I think it's going to be as competitive as it's ever been, once we're able to get out there and compete. I mean, I keep talking about our student athletes, how excited I am for them. But you look at the course of those 98 other schools and the opportunities that they have to go to compete. That's what it's all about. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be different. It's going to be different for all of us. It's going to be different for the fans because they're going to have football to watch in the spring, unlike any other time.
Did you guys consider playing any games in the fall, or have you been completely focused on the spring from the jump?
Well, of course, I think everything was on the table initially. We wanted to gather ourselves and understand the COVID protocol, and we have a lot better knowledge of it now than we did then. But our focus was 100% on the spring.
Have you noticed a difference in, the program exposure now that the FCS football is going to be the only game in town in terms of a football standpoint? Have you seen an increase in exposure and interest in the program now that you guys have a season to yourselves?
Well, I think you see an increase in all programs because of the opportunity that they did not have in the fall compared to the opportunity that they have in the spring. But I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to look at all student athletes, just say here at Northwestern State, the exposure that Northwestern State's going to have from an athletic standpoint. Because if I'm a Northwestern State fan, I may be able to catch a football game on a Saturday afternoon, a basketball game on a Saturday night, a softball game that morning, a baseball game the next day, a track meet the next day. I mean, tennis match, you go on and on. I mean, you can't beat that as far as for the community of Natchitoches, for the fans of Northwestern State, and then also the students of Northwestern State University. So it'll be a spring like no other.